Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're really zeroing in on something crucial for your postgraduate entrance exams, that's mastering English vocabulary.
Right. Think of it like getting the right tools for the job ahead.
Exactly. We're diving into the day 22 words from our materials today. The aim is really to build your comprehension, give you that bit of an edge.
So stick with us. We'll have practical examples, some memory tips, and hopefully make it a bit more engaging.
Okay, so we've grouped these words right, thematically.
We have. It helps, see the connections, makes them stick better. We're starting with words around equipment, manufacturing, manual.
Okay.
Then we'll move through words with the effect root, then terms about advantages and disadvantages.
Right.
After that, words connected to emerge, and finally, some key ones for emergency and crisis.
Got it. Okay, let's jump into that first group. Equipment, manufacturing, manual. First one is facility. Now, this isn't always just like a building. It can be equipment, installations, even a natural talent for something.
That's a key point. The source example was, the hotel provides excellent facilities for children.
Right. And for exam prep, finding a library with good study facilities, quiet spaces, decent Wi-Fi, that's super important.
It really is. And you mentioned talent. That's another layer. In academic context, someone might have a facility for languages, for instance.
Oh, interesting. So how might that specific meaning aptitude come up when discussing, say, research methods?
Well, think about grant proposals or applications. You might need access to specific research facilities like labs or archives. Describing those facilities well is one thing.
Okay.
But you might also subtly hint at your own facility for using complex equipment or methodologies effectively. It shows preparedness.
Ah, I see. Showing you've got the resources and the skill. Makes sense.
Exactly.
Okay, next. Manufacture. This one's both a verb and a noun.
Yep. It means producing stuff in large quantities, usually with machines, but also
like inventing or fabricating something. The example was, the evidence against him had been largely manufactured.
Right. That's a really different feel from just asking, what is the date of manufacture on a product label?
Definitely. One is about production. The other implies, well, maybe deception. How important is catching that difference in academic reading?
Oh, it's critical, especially in research analysis or history.
Yeah.
Was the data manufactured, meaning carefully collected, or manufactured, meaning made up? It changes everything.
Huge difference.
And from manufacture, we get the noun manufacturer. Remember that exam sentence?
The one about negotiating with drug manufacturers.
That's the one. Either way, one benefit of a national organization would be to negotiate better prices, if possible, with drug manufacturers. So understanding who the manufacturer is, the producer, is vital in fields like economics or business studies.
Gotcha. Okay, moving on to manual. Adjective and noun again.
Done by hand or physical work. Or it's a handbook.
Like the computer comes with a 600-page instruction manual. Good luck reading that.
Haha, right. Or they can avoid doing much of the manual labor.
So even with all the automation these days, some jobs still need that manual dexterity. And, you might actually need to read a manual for some complex software in your postgraduate work.
You certainly might. And that term manual labor often carries specific social or economic weight when you're analyzing texts about work.
Good point. Okay, next is manipulate, a verb.
This one's interesting. It can mean controlling or influencing someone, maybe cleverly, maybe unscrupulously.
Like the example, as a politician, he knows how to manipulate public opinion.
Right, but it also just means handling or using something skillfully, like computers are very efficient at manipulating information.
So a double edge. It's crucial then, especially when you're looking at research, to be aware of how data could be manipulated to show a certain bias.
Absolutely vital for any postgraduate student evaluating sources.
Okay, next up is handy, an adjective.
Meaning easy to reach, convenient, or just skillful.
Like the arrangement was handy for both of us. Or always keep a first aid kit handy. And for studying, definitely keep a good online dictionary handy. It really speeds things up when you hit an unknown word.
Totally agree. A real time saver. And that skillful meaning of handy implies a kind of practical competence. Being handy with research tools, that's a definite plus.
True. Okay, last in this group, artifact. It's a noun.
Right. An object made by a human, usually with some cultural or historical significance.
The example was, theoretically, you may be correct in claiming that every artifact has potential scientific value.
And there was that exam sentence, too. Certain artifacts are especially vulnerable because some pioneers in plastic art didn't always know how to mix ingredients properly.
Ah, so that highlights issues like vulnerability preservation.
Exactly. Studying ancient artifacts, as you said, gives us huge insights into the past. These artifacts tell stories.
For sure. Okay, let's shift gears to the infect words, starting with defect.
Right. Noun or verb. A defect is a fault, an imperfection.
Like, the creative aspects of advertisement often cover up the defects in products, or goods with slight defects are sold at half price.
And the verb to defect means to abandon your country or cause, but the noun defect leads to the adjective defective.
Ah, yes. Her hearing was found to be slightly defective.
So finding the defects in, say, your study plan is the first step to making it more effective.
Nice link. Yes, spotting defects is key for critical thinking, which is basically postgraduate study 101.
Pretty much. Which brings us to effect.
Yeah.
Noun and verb again.
The noun is the result, the consequence. The results show a statistically significant effect.
Exactly. And that exam sentence. All of which would, of course, have a positive effect on our happiness levels. Understanding cause and effect is fundamental.
Absolutely. And the verb to effect means to bring something about, to cause it to happen. Less common, maybe.
A bit less common in everyday chat, but important in formal writing. And then the adjective effective. His hard work is effective.
Right. Oh, and don't forget phrases like in effect, meaning basically, or actually, and take effect, like when a new rule starts.
Good ones. So using effective study methods had a positive effect on your scores. Makes sense.
Okay, now the tricky pair. Affect. This is mostly the verb, right? Meaning to influence or impact something?
Yes, primarily the verb. Influence, or to move emotionally. Like what David said has affected me a lot, or more than 7 million people have been affected by drought.
So the key is, affect is usually the action, the verb. Effect is usually the outcome, the noun. People mix these up all the time.
All the time. Remember, A affects B, leading to affect C. Lack of sleep can significantly affect concentration. The effect is poor performance.
Got it. Okay, next. Affection. That's the noun form.
Yep, a feeling of fondness, liking. People show affection in different ways. Or, I have a great affection for Beijing.
Nice. Showing some affection in a study group could positively affect morale, I guess.
It definitely could. Creates a supportive vibe.
Okay, then infect, verb. Contaminate or spread a feeling or idea.
Right. 2 million bees were infected with the disease. That's the literal sense.
But also figuratively, the whole room was soon infected by his laughter.
Exactly. And you get infection, noun, and infectious, adjective. Like his enthusiasm was infectious. A good idea can infect a whole team.
I like that. Okay, perfect. Adjective and verb.
Adjective, having all the right qualities, flawless, accurate. The new restaurant is a perfect place for dating.
And the verb, to make something flawless, to perfect your technique.
And you have perfection, noun, and perfectly, you know perfectly well what I mean.
A good reminder here, aiming for perfection is okay, but don't let it stop you actually finishing things like practice exams. Done is often better than perfect.
So true, especially under time pressure.
Okay, last one in this group. Utilise, or utilize, U-T-I-L-I-Z-E, in American spelling.
Right, a verb meaning to make practical and effective use of something.
Examples. The company released an updated version. It'll be utilized in over 50 classrooms.
And the exam sentence. Governments are increasingly compelled to interfere, to step up production and ensure that it is utilized to the best advantage. That really stresses optimal, efficient use.
It does. And the noun is utility, usefulness. This information is of the highest utility to a historian.
So for your studies, it's crucial to utilize all the resources you have to get the maximum utility from them.
Makes sense. Okay, switching themes again. Advantages and disadvantages. First, simply advantage.
Yep, a noun, a favorable condition or circumstance. Each of these systems has its advantages and disadvantages.
And the common phrase, take advantage of, which can mean use well or sometimes exploit.
True, it has that duality. Focusing on the positive, one advantage of group study is getting different views. It gives you an advantage on complex problems.
Definitely. Now the flip side, drawback, a noun.
Means a disadvantage, a problem. This is the one major drawback of the new system.
And that exam sentence. Although a search agent worked for Redmond, career experts see drawbacks, so potential downsides.
Exactly. Like a major drawback of last-minute cramming is you don't remember it long-term. It might seem like an advantage for the test tomorrow, but
it's not really. Good point. Next, handicap. Noun and verb.
Can refer to a physical or mental disability. She can't drive because of a visual handicap. But also, more broadly, any disadvantage.
Right, like that figurative use in the exam sentence. A history of long and effortless success can be a dreadful handicap. That's interesting.
It is. It suggests complacency can hold you back. And practically, like, lack of good internet can be a real handicap for online students. Puts them at a clear disadvantage.
For sure. Okay, flaw, a noun.
Means a slight fault, a defect, an imperfection.
I am writing to express my complaint against the flaws in your product. And the exam sentence. The most glaring flaw of the social cure is that it doesn't work very well. So, finding weaknesses.
Precisely. Spotting the flaws in your own essay during revision, that's how you improve it. You turn a drawback into a chance to strengthen your argument.
Excellent point. Last in this section, shortcoming, a noun.
Usually refers to a fault or failure to meet a standard, often a personal one. She made me aware of my own shortcomings.
So, it's about recognizing where you fall short.
Kind of, yeah. Knowing your shortcomings helps you focus your efforts. It's not necessarily a permanent handicap, but an area to work on for future advantage.
Right, self-awareness. Okay, next theme. Words related to emerge. First is surge, noun and verb.
Yeah, sudden powerful movement, often upward or forward, or just a sudden increase.
We're having trouble keeping up with the recent surge in demand. That makes sense.
And the exam sentence of the railroad industry. Keep up with its surging traffic. It highlights that rapid increase and the problems it can cause.
Like the surge of postgraduate applications just before the deadline, you need to anticipate that surge.
Definitely get ahead of it. Then there's emerge, verb.
To come out, come into view, become apparent. No new evidence emerged during the investigation.
Or, she finally emerged from her room at noon. The noun is emergence.
So, new research findings emerge from studies. Sometimes that can lead to a surge of new interest, right?
Absolutely. One thing leads to another.
Okay, next is merger, a noun.
Combining two or more organizations into one bigger one, the merger is not necessarily a good thing.
And the exam sentence mentioned, the biggest wave of mergers and acquisitions ever witnessed, highlights the scale.
It does. Understanding business mergers is pretty key if you're studying economics or finance. They can cause a real surge in market changes.
Good to know. Last in this group, submerge, verb.
Means to go underwater or just be completely covered or overwhelmed.
The entire European coastline might be submerged, wow. Or the fields had been submerged by floodwater.
Right, and figuratively, feeling totally overwhelmed by study material can feel like you're about to submerge.
Been there. So taking breaks helps let new ideas emerge instead of feeling like you're drowning.
Exactly. Don't let yourself submerge.
Good advice. Okay, final category, emergency and crisis. First, emergency, noun.
A serious, unexpected, often dangerous situation that needs immediate action.
The government has declared a state of emergency. Or the example about notices in train stations telling people what to do in an emergency.
Preparedness is key. You should know the emergency procedures for your exam hall, just in case. Probably won't need them, but still.
Better safe than sorry. Absolutely. And related to that is crisis, noun.
A time of really intense difficulty, trouble, or danger. The financial crisis has brought new factors into play.
And that other sentence was interesting. In much of the world, there is little sign of crisis. Shows it can be subjective, how a crisis is perceived.
Very true. And on a personal level, good time management can help you avoid that last-minute study crisis. Turn a potential emergency into just a busy week.
Manage the crisis before it happens. Okay, let's try putting some of these into a quick chat. Imagine two students, Alex and Jamie, prepping.
Okay, sounds good.
Jamie might say, Alex, I'm having a bit of a crisis of confidence. I feel like I'm about to submerge under all this material.
And Alex could reply, hang on, Jamie. Remember those online study facilities we found? They were really handy for practice questions.
Jamie, true, and the manuals for the stats section were great, but did you see that news about a possible merger of the exam boards? That could seriously affect the format.
Alex, yeah, I saw that. It might affect some changes, sure, but we just have to roll with it. Anyway, I found this practice essay, but honestly, it had a few flaws. I had to kind of manipulate the arguments to make sense of it.
Jamie, I hate when study materials have defects. Makes it hard to utilize them properly. What do you reckon is your biggest shortcoming right now? Mine's remembering all this vocab.
Alex, same here. I'm trying to see the advantage in learning them grouped like this, though. Maybe it'll give us an advantage in the reading section. Just gotta stay calm, right? Don't create an emergency panic situation.
You're right. Deep breaths. Just need to focus and hope all the hard work emerges in a good score. I have a real affection for the idea of being done with this exam.
Uh-huh. I bet. That works well, weaves them in nicely.
Great. So, quick recap. We covered equipment, manufacturing, manual, facility, manufacture, manual, manipulate, handy, artifact.
Then the affect words. Defect, effect, affection, infect, perfect, and utilise.
Then advantages and disadvantages. Advantage, drawback, handicap, flaw, shortcoming.
Followed by emerge, surge, emerge, merger, submerge.
And finally, emergency and crisis. Emergency and crisis. Phew.
That's quite a list for day 22. To really make these stick, flashcards are your friend. Spaced repetition.
Definitely. And try writing your own sentences. Put them in context that makes sense to you.
Yeah, or link them to words you already know. Or make silly mental pictures like for submerge. Picture yourself underwater trying to read a textbook.
Whatever works. And check out vocabulary apps too. Consistency is really the name of the game.
It is. Building that strong vocabulary isn't just about memorizing definitions. It's about understanding the nuances, how the words actually work in sentences.
And using them confidently yourself.
So, a final thought for you listening. Now that we've unpacked these, which words do you think will give you the biggest advantage on the exam?
Or maybe think about this. How might a sudden surge of new information in your chosen field create a kind of research crisis? How would you utilize your skills to handle that?
Good questions to ponder.
Thanks everyone for joining us for this deep dive into day 22 vocabulary. Keep practicing, keep engaging with the words.
And we'll catch you in the next deep dive.